and hopefully pass an act to amend the Deeds Registry Act. We just passed an act to amend the Power of Attorney Act. Acts and laws are amended all the time. Good governance requires that the policymakers identify and are sensitive to the hardships faced by their citizenry and come and amend those laws. The fraud that the government and the opposition accept has been happening either through forgery or through misuse didn't start in the last 18 months. It was happening for all the time that the APNU was in office, and they did nothing. So Mrs. Desir cannot come to this house and lecture anyone on this side about good governance, because they do not know what is required in the practice of good governance. And that is why we're amending 9 decades later, as Mr. Ramjatan said, the Power of Attorney Act to give some kind of protection to our citizens. Mr. Speaker, again, we have to be conscious that with all the IDs and with all the 2 witnesses and with all the attestations we're asking for, if we have dishonest people in the system, either through notaries who are usually lawyers, or magistrates who are also lawyers, or people at the Deeds Registry who will register and record a power of attorney without the required documents, and we are not strong enough, brave enough, and serious enough to discipline them, then all of this will go by the wayside. Because you can require the 2 IDs and the 2 witnesses, and there's a notary who didn't see any of that, or who saw fraudulent documents and still gave their stamp to this. Or there's a person at the Deeds Registry, I think a case was cited earlier about the registrar of deeds herself or himself not doing what was required of them and giving their official stamp and mark to a power that was misused. If we do not have the implementation of these bills, then they will not inure to the benefit of our citizens, and the intent that we're trying to, the thing that we're trying to fix, the mischief we're trying to fix, the intention of these bills will be weakened. And so I say that this amendment is necessary if we are to say, and we all say we need changes to the Power of Attorney Act, to include those safeguards, then we must include at the Deeds Registry that anyone who tries to register, that's the person who walks in and says, here is my power, without the right documents, or the person behind the cage who takes it without the right documents. If they are non-compliant with this piece of legislation, if they register a power without 2 pictorial IDs, without a witness statement where it was relevant, and without the stamp of the notary or magistrate, then that person is liable to a $5 million penalty and 5 years imprisonment. And I hope that those 2, and of course I would expect that dismissal will follow once the person is found guilty. So I hope that these penalties are enough to deter persons. But I also say again that it is up to us to insist what kind of society we want and to wring that out of the people who will not give it willingly and voluntarily. This piece of legislation coming before this House is an exercise of good governance, and I commend it, sir, for passage here